You guys understand that, okay? So any force intentionally applied that a what individual? Reasonable individual. What is a reasonable individual? What is that? What is it? Do we know what it is? Is it legally defined?
Probably someone fit to stand trial.
Fit to stand trial? Okay, I like that. I'm going to kind of abbreviate that to stand trial. Okay, I like that. What else? What makes a person reasonable or not reasonable? What do you think? What do you think? State of mind. State of mind? Okay. I like that. What else?
Same circumstances, training.
Same, okay, all right. Same circumstances, training, that's interesting.
Someone that more than 6 people could agree with.
More than 6 people. So I have a nickname I use for that. You guys remember the commercials for Trident Gum? You guys remember Trident Gum? They would always say what? 4 out of 5 dentists recommend Trident Gum, right? You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to write Trident up here. I don't have stock in Trident Gum or anything, but. So all good information you guys gave right there, and we do have a definition for a reasonable individual. So you guys see those weird little check marks on the bottom right side of your page? You guys see that stuff? That is the reasonable person standard, and that stands for a person with similar training, similar experience, similar information at a similar time and a similar place who would have acted in a similar manner. So it's a person with similar information, similar time, similar place, similar experience, would have acted in a similar manner. So it really is that Trident Gum standard. That's what we're looking at. There's a famous case, went to the Supreme Court, and whether you guys know it or not, that case affects your lives every single day, right? It's called Graham versus Connor. So Graham versus Connor, and that case right there, that established what's called the reasonable person standard. So what happened in Graham versus Connor? You have a police officer, and he pulled into a convenience store. He pulls into the convenience store parking lot, and he looks and he sees a guy sitting in a car backed into a space. And then he looks inside the convenience store and he sees another guy, and that guy's kind of moving nervously, rapidly around inside the store. And then the guy in the store comes running out the door, jumps into the car, and the car takes off. So the police officer says, "It's a little bizarre looking. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? What do you think that looks like to you, if you had to guess?" Suspicious, yeah, it's suspicious. Now, is there a crime? We don't know. But does it look suspicious? Absolutely, okay? So he's allowed legally, not an arrestable offense, but he's allowed to stop that car to investigate a little further. So he takes and he stops the car. He goes up to talk to the driver. The passenger jumps out of the car, and the two of them start fighting. There's a fist fight. They start fighting with each other. Another officer shows up. He gets into the fight, and they finally get this guy in handcuffs. They get him in cuffs. The driver speaks up and says what? "Officer, that's my friend. He has diabetes. He was having a little sugar episode. We tried to buy a bottle of orange juice. The line in the store was too long, so we left and went down the street to another convenience store." So Cop A looks at Cop B and says, "Hey, go back to the store and see if that's true." So Cop B goes back to the store, and guess what? It's true. So our guy in handcuffs has got a broken wrist, chipped teeth, he's got a mouse under his eye, and the police do what? They unhook him and say, "You go that way, or we're going to go this way. We're all good." So that goes all the way up to the Supreme Court, and the guy who was in the car says that the officers shouldn't have touched him. They should have known that he had diabetes before they got in a fight. And the court said, no. So the court, in their ruling, they said officers deal with rapidly evolving, dynamic, uncertain situations that require split-second judgment, which may not be assessed with 20/20 hindsight. That's a mouthful, right? So if you are at the ATM at 1 o'clock in the morning and you're getting some money, and two guys come up behind you, and they pull their hoods up, and they pull out knives, is that a rapidly evolving, dynamic, uncertain situation? Does it require split-second judgment? Then you may not be assessed with 20/20 hindsight. So Graham versus Connor applies to everybody in this room. It applies to you guys in your lives. It has established what a reasonable person is, right? Whether your actions would be deemed to be reasonable or unreasonable. Now, here's a question for you guys, and this is rhetorical.